Street in Anniston, Alabama. I am concerned about this inquiry simply because I stood here this very little mic talking about money for our school kids. And the word is in our community that money is being misplaced in our city. Now, if there's anyone sitting in this room that is misplacing money that truly should go to the worst of our city and neglecting the fact that our school kids are suffering, I feel sorry for you. Because what's done in the dark, sooner or later, according to the scripture, it'll come to the light. So I agree with this inquiry that's about to take place. We have to know what's happening to our funds in our city. Thank you very much.
My name is John Montgomery. I'm from Anniston, Alabama, P.O. Box 1870. First, I want to thank Councilman Littles and Councilman Reddick for the little repast we had the other day, and for the information that you provided to us. And it's as a result of that meeting that I do think that it's fair to do an inquiry. Now, several years ago when I was on the council, if you can believe this, I was accused of using Gene Stellar's credit card in Bermuda. Just fucked up stuff. But they looked into it, of course. It was determined that it was not true. And I think the council has the authority. The Alabama legislature, I think, gives the council an option to investigate things if there's some kind of evidence. And I think based on what was discussed in the little repast meeting that we had with Councilman Littles and Reddick, I think it should be looked into. And the council, I think, has the authority to do it. And I don't think it should be a witch hunt. I think it should be done with fairness and judiciousness. But in order to put this to bed, because it's going to keep coming up and up and up and up. You know, if there are issues related to Millie and to Jack or and to Jay, or even to the two of you, Councilman Littles and Reddick, I think things ought to be looked into. So I support the inquiry as well.
So turn over another rock. This baseless accusations aimed at me are comical at best. There's a part of me that wants you to continue to chase this ghost that you believe is out there. I've been brought in front of the Ethics Commission 5 times since I've been on this council. 5 times I have been investigated. They've yet to find a single incident of wrongdoing. So, you know, if you want to make it 6, make it 6. I don't care. Make it 10.
I support the inquiry into the expenditures that is going on in this city, just like stormwater. A lot of money going out, being spent for a lot of local folks and families. I have it right here. And families. We're not supposed to make any of this money, but they're doing it anyway. So taxpayers, you got a system that is set up to allow them to make money off of your tax dollars. I'll leave it, but I do support the inquiry. Thank you.
Mr. Sally, it appears we do have one matter of unfinished business, and that would be Mr. Littles' motion to authorize an inquiry. That motion was tabled. Is there now a motion to take from the table and place on the floor?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Now let me say something in the meantime, that due to the fact that Councilman Jenkins is involved with this and Councilman Harris, I don't think it would be appropriate for them to entertain and interact in the voting procedure for this matter. They are involved and they are part of the inquiry. So I don't think it would be.
Well, I mean, that's a matter for them to decide at the point of voting
Well,
on your motion.
I think that's the point of clarity. The attorney is there, but do we need to get another attorney?
Well,
They'll
they
be able to.
all I'm saying is they have to make that decision themselves. We can't force a decision upon them.
Well, I mean, you have to point of order. I think Councilmember Harris said before that she couldn't vote on it.
They may very well abstain. We just don't know until we vote on it.
I'm just saying that they'll vote because they are a part of the inquiry. You can't vote to block that, or you shouldn't vote to let it go forward because they're a part of it. I think the attorney should be able to speak to that.
Is the motion to let it go forward?
This motion is
Okay,
to
so
simply
the
place it on the
motion's
floor,
not to-
right?
okay, the
It's not
motion
to, yeah,
It's not to have it or not, it's to move it forward.
correct. That's
Bring it
right.
off the
Bring it
table.
off the table and place it on the floor for discussion. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Jenkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Reddick,
Yes.
Councilmember Little,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes,
Mayor Draper.
Yes, the motion is now on the floor. The motion has already been made and seconded, so at this point, it's just for council discussion.
Well, I'm bringing this forward for the reason, we've heard, look on another rock. If you want to investigate me, fine. Mayor, I think you said there's nothing there. I'm just saying that there's some things there and that needs to be investigated about voting activities and with Ms. Harris and Councilman Jenkins in violation of 11-43-12. It is clear, and I think the attorney, Mr. Downey, I think you had a copy of that, didn't you, Mr. Downey? 11-43-12.
I don't know if that is offhand.
You don't know what that is offhand?
What is that addressing?
That is addressing an individual council member. Well, could you read this for me? Could you pass that down to me? It's in highlighted. Let's see.
I've read that statute before.
Could you read it out loud for us?
It prohibits alderman or an officer or employee from being directly or indirectly interested.
We can't hear you back there, could you speak in the mic?
Would you like me to read it to the crowd? It prevents an alderman or officer or employee from being directly or indirectly interested in work, business, or contracts when the expense, price, or consideration is paid from the treasury, and no member of the council or officer of the municipality can be a surety for any person having a contract work or business with the municipality for the performance of which a surety may be required.
Okay.
Will you clarify what alderman is?
It is a term used to describe members of the governing body in a different form of government.
To include council members, yeah, ultimate council members. This is an Attorney General's opinion. Attorney General's opinion 2013-010. We do have some work, I think, that Councilman Jenkins was involved with, or his architect firm were involved with the City Hall, Botanical Garden, the fire station, and I think the money was paid from the city's treasurer, or we would have to look and see. But there's some concern. But let me tell you this, it really perplexed me and disturbing to me that we sit up here and we vote against our schools, our education. We vote against funding for Ward 2 and Ward 3, or we don't put any money there. And all we're asking is for our reasonable service like everyone else is getting, but yet we are blocked on every hand. And it says that we don't have money, we don't have money. Well, we have some indications here that some money was spent from what it was called, so-called the UDEC fund, and also the Downtown Development Authority. These people have expended some money You know, and I really don't like to go through this. I really don't like to do this. I really just like to come in here and be peaceful and go along. People make mistakes in life. I like to do this. But I'm tired of coming in here and our community is deprived of finances that I know it should be getting. Our citizens that we represent, Ward 2 and Ward 3, are deprived of finances that we should be getting. And Mr. Mayor, you say constantly that, you know, you told me before, hey, I would like to welcome an investigation. Well, we should investigate, we should investigate, we should investigate. We're asking for this to take place. If there's nothing wrong, nothing is wrong. This is a letter from the District Attorney, Mr. Brian McVeigh, dated August 6, 2012, but the same thing still exists. And I'm not going to read all that, I'm just going to say this, what he says in here. The attached letter and follow-up and voicemail allege criminal conduct on behalf of City of Anniston employees, council members, and others. I am requesting that these allegations be investigated to determine the veracity of these claims by Councilman Littles. If the claims are valid, then they should be referred to the magistrate for prosecution. If they're not valid, then the public should be assured that they have been thoroughly investigated and we can all move forward. And that's what we're asking for. If we're saying we don't have money to put in Ward 2 and Ward 3 and the funding in education, but we have hundreds and thousands of dollars to go in private businesses, but yet they can't go into our community. And I have a copy of this for you, Mr. Mayor. And along with that, there is at a building, and I won't call the name of it, but there's a building in the 1100 area that Councilman Jenkins did do some architect work. If you look on the fourth page from the back, I don't know the number, but the fourth page from the rear of that stack there, you see that building number, he did some architect work in it with the firm name on it. And Mr. Jenkins, it was in 2015. Mr. Jenkins signed that as an architect. I don't know when the license were renewed or put back in, but I'm told sometime in 2016. For whatever reason, there was no license in 2012. And several buildings that were, some other things, structures, were worked on by Councilman Jenkins in that time frame for no architect license. And my concern is some of these buildings are city, meaning the block grant building with no architect license. That should be a concern to everyone. If it were me, it would be in the paper every day and be written about. And it'd probably be in jail, locked up by now, grand jury and panels. Now they're gone from here. That's what would happen. But it seems to be every time that Ben Littles brings something forward, there's nothing to it. And also there's some other financial tie-ins that would come in. I cannot lay it out because once we vote for this and it goes through, then we will then have to hire an attorney that will go through the things that will present the case to the council. And the way the inquiry works, the inquiry gives the council the authority for subpoena power. We get subpoena powers to subpoena people in. Then you're going to see a flood of people running to the courthouse over there, the judge, to try and get quashed, get subpoena. We don't want to go. You'll see that taking place. I just want to tell you up front. But it is the fact that Councilman Jenkins is involved with the inquiry and Councilman Harris. So that should leave the three of us to vote about this, and so no one will be in trouble. And if there's nothing there, we move on. And Councilman former Councilman Montgomery said, it's not going away. We're going to stay here with it. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. If I'm right, let's get our money and let's put it in the community where it's supposed to be. We have lots to be clean. And we want our community looking good, just like, well, I won't talk about that right now, but basically, I have stated, and I'm not giving you the full measure, because I can't give it to you, because I need legal guidance on that, but it is enough to say some Councilman Harris, her husband, organization received some funding from the city. And anyhow, we have to look at some things. And a council inquiry will clear it up. He said, Ben Little is just as crazy as we thought he was. He don't have not a lick of sense, and nothing he said was right. And I said, hey, I'm on the emergency report. You were right. It's not true. But I think from what I've seen and the paperwork that we have, it is true. And like I said, I really hate it, but I'm tired of sitting up here and our people that we work, that have elected us to office, Ward 2 and Ward 3, are neglected in funding when other people sitting on the council, families, members, and friends are receiving funds from the city of Anniston. And I think it's deplorable and it's horrible. All we're asking for is a reasonable amount of money in our community that our people can also enjoy, and our kids can enjoy the basic and fundamental things about education and about this community. And people say, Ben Littles, he's a racist, he's talking about that. You know, ain't nothing racial about that. Give us some funding for our community. And everything else good. Some funding for our school system. Reasonable service. But it is there, and I have some more, and that will really outline some things, but I need the attorney to do that. And normally, and what will happen is that the city will have to provide an attorney for, and we will be calling in several people coming in, will be coming in to testify. And so we will have an attorney to prosecute the case, not prosecute, but to investigate the case, and on behalf of the city. You deserve that. You deserve to know that. And we deserve to bring that forward. Thank you.
You have anything, Mr. Rick?
Yeah, I'll say this. It's good to look into it and say, let's say, you know, right or right, or wrong. Let's squash it. Let's bring everything to an end so there's no more accusations, you know. Accusations are never a good thing, and it's good to have some closure. I mean, it's kind of like having somebody block you on Facebook and then they talk about you all day, call you everything under the sun, and knowing you can't respond to it, you know. You never win that way. Let's get some closure. You know, I remember I sat on this council. Thank God you're here, Ben, because I sat on this last council and I could have brought the cure to cancer to this thing, and because it was my ideal, or because I brought it, it wouldn't even made it here for a discussion. So you know what? If you want to AG opinions on wearing tap shoes to a council meeting, I'm just taking it, because I went 4 years of not being able to get anything done for my ward and my city. So you can't say, oh, we're not blocking anything or anything, when that was my life for 4 years. 4 years of not being able to do one thing because I had 4 other council members that had decided that we're not going to work with Reddick. We don't care what he got to say. And you know, word to the wise, me and Ben ain't breaking up. Me and Ben, we got a love man in heaven. You guys can, one of y'all can eventually gonna get on board with us, or maybe 2 or 3. So then we can start doing some stuff for this city. But you know, it's back to that old 3-2 thing. When we try to get something done, it's your way or the highway. You don't even entertain us. You know, the rest of the county, they don't have to talk to us. So this is an opportunity to, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. The attorney, Brian McVeigh has asked this council to look into certain allegations. I think it's fair to listen to what the DA is saying to do. I think it's fair to look at something, and if you claim innocence, prove that you're innocent. You know, accusations have no bearing, but when you refuse to allow that clearance to happen, that clarity to happen, it just makes you look more guilty. So I said, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
While I recognize that the city council does have the statutory authority to conduct an inquiry, I would say that I do not agree that Brian McVeigh has asked this council, the one that is sitting up here now, to conduct any inquiry into anything. And even though we have the authority to do so, I understand some accusations have been made here, but why not bring those to the Attorney General? Why not bring those to the District Attorney? They would be the better parties to investigate these matters of which you complain. So again, while I recognize that we have the authority to do so, I just think it's an awful idea. I mean, law enforcement should investigate these claims if you have them, and quite frankly, I think most people here remember the last council inquiry that we had here and the reputation that the city developed as a result of that inquiry. So I am very much not in favor of this inquiry. Are there any other council discussion?
I am not going to dignify the scandalous accusations with a response, but I will abstain, even though absolutely the facts are not there. There's a big misunderstanding about the Downtown Development Authority being a part of this council. It absolutely is not. But I will abstain, but I will not dignify this, and I will not put this city, I do not wish to see this city put through the ridiculous experience of a few years ago that just about ruined us. I will not support it, but I will abstain.
Any other discussion?
Let me just say something here about this dignity and word. The last council inquiry that we did, it was only bad for some folks. We're talking about just about ruining this city. Ruining the city. What's ruining the city, it seems as though the pattern of racial bias still exists within the city. Instead of, you burn the bus, you continue to deprive blacks in the community. Somebody need to leave, get them out of here. Somebody need to go.
There are multiple disruptions throughout our meetings, Mr. Little. I think you're aware of those.
Well, I'm just saying, when somebody say, when you talking, you ready to throw them out. So I'm ready to throw them out. Who's that? Raise your hand, identify yourself. But anyway, it doesn't bother me, because I'm going to do what I'm doing now. But like I said, when you're talking about the racial divide, and I think we need a racial healing. I'm willing to sit down with ministers and call something. I think we talked about it once before. We need to get the ministers together and see about doing something in the city and have the facts put forward. And I'm not, like I said, we're talking about you're not going to dignify certain things. I could read some stuff here tonight that is not Ben Little writing, but it's some other people writing. But I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to read it. I will not read it tonight. But, but it really is sad about these things continue to happen. Again, if you go to the district attorney, he's going to say the same thing. But that's not the first letter. That's the second time. That's the first one. But he sent a second letter over. Said I've asked the counselor
For this council?
Not for
this
this
council?
Not for this one.
Well, then that's
But
not even relevant to our discussion
Oh, yeah,
here.
it's
in
very-
the slide. No, it's actually not.
You interrupted me, man.
Well, but Ben, that's not germane to what we're even talking about. You're talking about the 2012 council.
Well, the fact of 11-43-12 was violated then, and after I submitted the letter, it continued to be violated. So the same thing was done in the letter was being violated. And so we're asking the same thing to be done again. So I know that the district attorney would say the same thing. Hey, look, you all handle this. I mean, I really...
Well, just for a point of clarification, you're saying that Brian McVeigh is going to tell us to investigate these matters that you've made allegations. That's what you just said, I think.
Well, I'm saying that he said it in a letter. I'm referring to the letter he just said, and I think he would be saying the same thing. But be that as it may, the council has the authority to investigate and the inquiry, and that's what we're asking. It has been said that you were wrong, there's nothing there, look on the rock, and you said yourself, there's nothing to it. You asked everybody to look into this and that, and always saying, we're going to look into it now. Let's make it happen and let the public know. And it's not a shame on Ben Little, because Ben Little didn't get any money. Ben Little is just saying, I'm sitting here representing constituents and a school system that are constantly looked at, and we had a Congo line of white people coming in against our school system and funding of the system. A Congo line with them, and getting general fund money to them. We had the same thing happen when we talked about putting buildings in West Anniston and South Anniston. Oh, you just put it on the mountain, let's put it elsewhere, and let the people come in. And we're saying, if you build it in West Anniston, if you build it in South Anniston, if you build it in Southwest Anniston, and that will create job and economic development and money for our people and jobs too. So stop saying that.
Then you're talking about allegations. Didn't somebody send a letter out when you was running for office stating that if you won office, the next day City Hall's gonna be shut down and all that? Didn't somebody send a letter out like that? Somebody sitting on this chamber? They're talking about allegations.
Yes, it is.
Somebody said that if Ben Little got elected, City Hall would shut down the next day and we wouldn't even have a city anymore. That's a strong allegation right there.
Okay, let's stick to the issue here of the council inquiry. Is there any other discussion as to the council inquiry?
I apologize to white folk think that I'm racial. I apologize to you for that right now. But if you just look at the basic, you see, Ben Little, you're not racial. You're just asking a basic and fundamental question. But if you think that I am, I'm not. I help you in any way that I can help. I extend that olive branch to any and everyone. But our people are being deprived. And we have, and you can sit down, and you can call me. I'll sit down with you and explain to you what I'm talking about. If you mean the city to go forward, you know, it's just wonderful. And I met with some people today fixing up a building downtown. I'm not gonna call their name, and I'm glad that they're doing it and coming in. And I say to them and say to everyone else, Ben Little is here to help you and help. But I also represent some people that's being deprived of general fund money. It is my duty, it is my obligation, and I intend, God being my help, to carry that out. And there are other areas of this city that have gone forth in the last 4 years that have done some things that we have to look at, because we can't find any money for education and for business people. I want to help you all I can. Help me. Help us.
Okay, any additional discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Jenkins.
Abstain.
Councilmember Reddick.
Yes.
Councilmember Little.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Abstain.
Mayor Draper.
No. And while I'm sure a legal challenge will ensue from this is a 2-to-1 vote with 5 members still present. I think that you need 3 votes in order to have a council inquiry. And so from my perspective as chair of the body, that motion fails.
That motion passed.
That motion fails.
It's 2 to 3, 2 to 1. If you set that standard, then doggone, you got one. It's 2 to 1.
They're still here. They're still here. They're present. They're present. Well, again, Mr. Little, you have ample opportunity to challenge this, okay?
I have ample opportunity to challenge. The motion passed. We got.
Are you the chair of this body, Mr. Little? You're not. The motion fails. You can challenge
The
that.
motion does not fail. The motion
Okay,
passed.
let's move on now. Okay, there being no, okay.